Hello and welcome to my presentation on sport for international development, presented by me, Jordan Pilley. In my first slide, I will just be giving a brief outline of my presentation, just focusing on the main points. The first is the function of aid in development from history to present time. The second is to take a look at MDGs and also the new SDGs, and then the third is to take a look at the contributions sport for development has made. In my next slide, I will just want to talk about aid in development and its history. Global development hasn't really got a set definition, but has been occurring for decades leading back to post-World War II. After the destruction the war caused, they needed mass reconstruction all over the world. From this, they made the International Bank of Reconstruction and Development, which are now part of the World Bank Group. They also created the UNRRA, which stands for the United Nations Relief Rehabilitation Administration. And they also created the International Refugee Organization. Leading on from this, the Americans then came up with the European Recovery Program, called the Marshall Plan. This was where the Americans channeled over $13 billion to finance the economic recovery of Europe between the years of 1948 and 1951. This successfully met the objective of restoring confidence of the European people with their own economic future and Europe's economic future as a whole. Leading on from the Marshall Plan, between the years of 1950 and 1970, the United Nations led the development for aid. As the volume of aid was on the rise, the UN was rising with it, putting more and more in place each year, with the USA and the USSR giving strategic aid support, while the European countries closely followed. Going on to more present time, these are the two organisations that contribute to the international aid and development: GOs and NGOs. GOs are government run and aim to create and implement their development ideas and projects. For example, This Girl Can. This Girl Can is a nationwide campaign aiming to bring women of all shapes, sizes and abilities together through activity. They are a Sport England sport funded programme which work with the NGBs all around the country for each specific sport, looking for women to take part in. This is just a couple of things they have achieved. NGOs are different, as they are citizen-based organisations that work independently of the government. They get their funding from many different ways: operations, memberships, businesses, or the local council. The World Bank classifies these NGOs as either operational NGOs, which are concerned with development projects, or advocacy NGOs, which are concerned with promoting a cause. An example of these is Oxfam. Oxfam is an international confederation built up of 17 different organisations networked together by 92 different countries. This is a part of a global movement for a change to try and eliminate global poverty. This is just a few things that Oxfam did last year. I will now go on to talk about MDGs. MDGs are development goals set by the United Nations to try and fight poverty and all its dimensions. and from this they formed the 8 Millennium Development Goals. These MDGs have been the framework for the UN's fight against poverty for the last 15 years, right up until 2016. Some examples of these goals were: Goal 1 was to eradicate extreme poverty and hunger. Goal 3, to promote gender equality and empower women. And Goal 6 was to combat HIV, AIDS, malaria and other diseases. As it's coming to an end of the MDG period, they have many positive things to look back on, as from the efforts of global, regional, national and local, they have saved the lives of millions and helped improve conditions for many more. Now leading on to the future of the UN and SDGs. Sustainable Development Goals are the goals that the United Nations are focusing on for the future up until 2030. They were created with the help of the largest consultation programme the UN has ever undertaken. Citizens, civil society, academia, the private sector, and local and regional governments all provided input. These are some examples of the new goals. Goal 1 is to end all poverty in all its forms everywhere. Goal 4 is to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong education for all. And Goal 13 is to take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts. These goals are now known as 17 Goals to transform our world. I hope you've enjoyed listening to this presentation for Sport and International Development.